There are 5 essential steps associated with raising your consciousness that I'm going to go over today. My name is Rhonda and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be explaining why there's 5 steps to consciousness that need to be taken before being able to raise your consciousness. And the first one is being aware, being self-aware and aware of the surroundings around you. The second one is boundaries. And the third one is detachment. And the fourth one is intuition. And the fifth one is recognizing synchronicity. These 5 things are all tied together and have to be approached in a certain order to help you start being able to raise your consciousness. And first we're going to start with spiritual intelligence and how that all relates to these 5 reasons or these 5 ways that you can elevate your consciousness. There are 7 different levels of spirituality, and this information I got from Aaron Abke, and I will put the link to his YouTube channel below. But he outlined 7 different types of spiritual intelligence that there is, and we must start with the first one to realize where we're either at or other people are at. And the first level of spiritual intelligence is insanity, and that's what I see a lot of the world participating in these days. It is extreme and constant suffering, strong addiction to stimulants, no interest in personal development, depression and self-loathing, a complete victim identity, a constant flight or fight mode, and no awareness of their inner worlds. And if you're experiencing one of these things, one of the very negative things about the level 1 of this spirituality, that is insanity. I believe that people who are narcissists and have certain personality disorders fall into this insanity bracket, as well as the majority of the politicians in this country. And when you're at this level of insanity, in order to raise up to your next spiritual level, you have to learn to see things differently, and you have to take a development or an interest in personal growth and be practicing the awareness of your thoughts and your feelings. And you have to have a desire to escape this suffering and this insanity. And developing more self-awareness and awareness in general will help you get out of this level of insanity into this next level of sanity. And in order to be able to do that, like it's one of the steps that we need to be able to take is awareness. And that means being aware of yourself, your thoughts, your feelings, the people and places and things around you, and how it interact with each other, and how everything is affected with each other, and to really notice what's going on in the world around you and start paying attention. Because even when you get up to this level of insanity, you still have some suffering, regular suffering, and you have like a moderate addiction to stimulants. You have a strong body identification, and you have a lot of stress and frustration in your life. And so even though we're reaching into these levels of sanity, it doesn't mean that all of our pains and woes are going to go away. I think sanity is where most people are at and exist in this world, but that's just my personal opinion. And one of the things that in the sanity level too is you want to advance. You want to improve yourself, and you're gaining some source of willpower and control over your thoughts and your feelings and your interactions with other people. And from this sanity level, the next level can be achieved by learning discipline and self-responsibility, being accountable for your actions and what you say and what you do, and getting out of that victim mode, and practice more observing your thoughts and your feelings and how you interact with the world. And then also getting to the point where you really, really desire to be at your full potential. And throughout this process of awareness and stepping into making boundaries, that's how we make boundaries, is we have to become aware of what's going on inside of us and what's going on outside of us. Because if we don't have solid boundaries, we will be balancing in this range of sanity and insanity for our entire lives. And so when we start structuring boundaries, boundaries are intended to keep us safe, but in order to be able to set your boundaries, you really have to be aware of what's going on in your life. And for the next step into detachment, that's another step that needs to happen after setting your boundaries. Because once you set your boundaries, as I've said, some people might not like that. And so you're going to have a lot of detachment from certain persons, places, or things to be able to move on to the next step of intuition. And once you have your boundaries set up, your intuition, you recognize your intuition better, and you're aware of it because you've done the work with that also, and you trust it more. But without being able to detach from outcomes, or detach from people, or detach from things that don't serve you, that's going to really, from what I've experienced, just give some brain fog with the intuition, or not recognizing it, and then it comes up over and over and over and over again until you recognize it or see something, or you just give up on that. And the next one is synchronicity, which are coincidences that aren't coincidences. And in order to be able to recognize the synchronicity, you have to go through that process of awareness and boundaries and detachment and beginning to trust your intuition, so you can pick up on those synchronicities that are happening in your world all the time. Because like I had said, how many coincidences do there have to be for it not to be a coincidence? Well, that's kind of how synchronicity works. And synchronicity is kind of like intuition. It'll keep reaching out to you and reaching out to you and reaching out to you until you really pay attention to it. And I've had some learning experiences throughout this process too, and I've been following these 5 different ways and these 5 different steps, and I see that they really, really make sense to me. May not make sense to you, and I hope that if you like this content though, and it does make sense to you, that you'll like and subscribe, and I'll continue on this topic the next time. And we'll catch you next time.